A very good noon to all of you. How are you all? I am Nikita and I welcome you to this session. Type in the answer Parajumbles. So we are meeting after a long time. Yes, I would like to know how you've been, how the preparation is going. And yes, we are going to talk about type in the answer Parajumbles. So CAT 2022 had 3 questions on type in the answer Parajumbles. So of course, we are going to talk about how to approach them and we are going to practice some questions because we've had some sessions on type in the answer Parajumbles earlier as well. And there also have discussed the approach with you. So we'll practice some questions in order to cement that approach. Right? Hi Sonali, good noon. Hi Angela, good noon. Right, so 3 questions carrying no negative marking. So it's a +3, right, for each of these questions. That means 9 marks from this area, right? So these are 9 essential marks. These are 9 important marks that we shouldn't miss out on. I understand that initially, when you start solving them without options, they do appear to be difficult. But of course, there are certain steps that you can follow. And, you learn those steps with me today, the approach. And apart from that, with practice, you improve in this area. It takes some practice to improve in this area, right? So as you become better as you practice more. In fact, as you read more, you become better at parajumbles too, because you start anticipating, okay, what is going to come next? What must have happened earlier? Parajumbles are all about this anticipation, right? Hi Tarun, hello Nishant, hi Vivek, good afternoon, good afternoon. Yes, para completion as well, Arshad. So we've had, I think, a couple of sessions already, and we'll conduct more sessions on them. Don't worry. Okay. So I think this is something that I've told you a number of times for any exercise, be it an RC passage, be it a parajumble question, a para summary question, that you should read with concentration. Why? Because when you read with alertness, you pick up on some clues. So what kind of clues am I talking about? I am talking about these 3 types of clues. Sorry. Theme based, structure based, and grammar based clues. So see this. Every paragraph, a parajumble is what? It's a jumbled paragraph. So every paragraph has an underlying theme, an underlying central message, right? So you will observe that once you grasp the meaning of the sentences, you will spot a number of times that, oh, these 2 words are synonyms. That means in both these sentences, although I'm using different words, but because they are synonymous, these 2 sentences are perhaps talking about the same thing or carrying forward the discussion. So, paying attention to similar words, paying attention to synonyms, paying attention to contrast words like antonyms, that helps you. Okay, understanding the sentence helps you. So I'll never tell you that, oh, just read the initial few words and you are sorted. That those kinds of questions rarely come in CAT, where you don't even read the entire sentence and you arrange them. Okay. Uh, Structure based clues. So, for instance, let's say something is happening in a paragraph. There is a sequence to what is happening. So, if you pay attention to such words such as firstly, okay, if you're very lucky, you may get a firstly, secondly, but again, rarely happens. Then, if let's say there's a process that is being explained to you, so first I'll give an introduction to it, right? Then I'll give you various steps, then perhaps what will be the end result. Let's say I'm describing an experiment to you. So, in such a manner, every paragraph has a structure, right? And paying attention to this structure will help you to arrange sentences. Okay. So I'll actually show you all of these clues. Okay, we're not just going to talk about them in theory, so don't worry about it. And grammar-based clues always. I think all of you are aware of them by now. Words such as but, however, additionally, as a result, they indicate some relationship with the other sentences. So you have to spot that relationship. You have to be alert towards these adverbial conjunctions. Right? Yes, chronological order, Arshad. Correct, correct. Good afternoon, Shri. Okay, so here's a question for you, and you can see, I'm not saying that you should never read the initial few words. I'm just saying that you should understand the entire sentences also along with that. So, uh, paying attention to the initial few words also helps. For instance, there's a however here, right? So you have to figure out where is this contrast in the paragraph, and you have to then give me a sequence. Yes. Let's see what you say. An easy question. I've actually kept an easy question for the first one. Let's see what you say. Himanshu, I think the best way to decide is to take a diagnostic CAT test and see how you fare in it, right? So, if let's say you are getting an 80 percentile, around an 80 percentile overall, then I think yes, you should take the preparation ahead and you will be able to crack CAT 23. Okay, so you have to see where you stand currently. Okay, I've got four sequences. All right, so quite a few of you say 4132. Let's have a look. So this, however, you are right. See, we are saying that modern shops in touristy spots display thousands of them, both handcrafted and factory made. However, see, you will find them in modern shops. However, where will you find the best bargain for them? In Tokyo's kitchen town. So I am contrasting this location with this location here. So you are right, 3-2 is a pair here. Okay, and 4 is clearly the introductory sentence here. We are talking about ceramics. What is their other name, right? So we introduce ceramics here. 4 is the opening sentence. Now, when I say these creations, here comes a grammar-based clue. These creations, which creations? Ceramics. So there is a connection here. Then there is a time-based connection also, 4 and 1, right? So there is a sequence-based connection also, chronological order also, since prehistoric times. Then, so they have been there since the prehistoric times, but when did they become particularly popular? In the 16th century. Okay, so 4-1 has a theme based relationship also in terms of the time. It has a grammar based relationship also. 3-2 has a contrast relationship, a location based relationship. Right, so if you understand these things, then it becomes easy. All right. So 4-1, 3-2 is the answer here. So through this question, I wanted to show you the various types of clues, grammar based, right? Then theme based, and this was the theme based one, and also the structure based clue, the chronology as we were talking about, right? So we've seen all these three types. Now let's see what else is there to the approach. Apart from the clues, what else do we need? As I said, that the first few words, they may help you, and therefore you should be alert while reading them. To see an example here. See, youthfulize, our eyes, humanize. Yes. So youthfulize, humanize, our eyes. So this tells me that okay, I am discussing something about eyes here, and it may also help me in categorizing. Okay, will I say youthful eyes first? Will I say human eyes first? So my mind may start processing this if I read these words in an alert manner. Right. So have a look at this question and tell me what the sequence should be. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. I've got five. Okay. All right. So different sequences this time. Okay. 3 to 4 sequences I've got in the chat box. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. So, see this. There's a clue for you here. In fact, the previous question also said this. Ceramics known as yakimono. So whenever I am introducing something to you, I would talk about the meaning of the term. I would tell you what other name is it known as, right? So if you see here, even in this question, we talked about jiggles and then we said more formally called saccades, right? In response to a change in the field of vision. Now, again, this gives me a clue that this is the first time I'm talking about jiggles, right? And therefore, 4 should definitely come before 1, right? So, 4 should come before 1. Did everybody place that before 1? Let me check. Yes, correctly. Everybody placed it before 1. Good. Now, it says youthful eyes jiggle regularly to take in new or unfamiliar stimuli. So, youthful, we are concerned about the age now, right? Then as the person attached to those eyes ages, as the person becomes older, the eye muscles grow slower. So you see both these sentences are talking about age, right? So 1 and 2 seem like a pair. Let's see 3. Okay, so I'm saying 1 and 2 seem like a pair. I want to check 3 also first. So this is how I check. Don't be in a hurry to make pairs. Okay, let's see if 3 can fit between 1 and 2. Our eyes quickly scan the surroundings and then send the data to the brain. This is more concerned about the process rather than about age. So no, 3 can't come between 1 and 2. 1, 2 is a pair. Okay, so 4, 3, 1, 2. 4 introduces jiggles. 3 tells me what jiggles really is, the process, the scientific process. Okay, then how? When we are young, we take in more information, more stimuli, and as we grow older, our responses, our jiggles grow fewer. 4, 3, 1, 2. So good. Those who said 4, 3, 1, 2. Okay, nobody said 4, 3, 1, 2. Yes. Why did you not say 4, 3, 1, 2? Okay, just a second, just a second, एक minute. Did you say, okay, humanize more, all right, in response to change in the field of vision? Hmm. It should be 4, 3, 1, 2, yes. Uh, so why not 4, 1, 2, 3? And yes, I also see 1, 4, 1, 3, 2 in the chat box. Let's discuss that also. Okay. Why it is this and not 4, 1, 3, 2? Interesting. ठीक है. 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3 ये दोनों डिस्कस करते हैं. See this. If I say 4, 1 and then I put 3 after it, so that means what you are saying is when I say our eyes, I am not just talking about the youth here. I am talking about all the humans here. Right? So, this is a general statement explaining the process. When you place it after 1, you give the impression that you mean youthful eyes only. Okay, so that is not the idea here. This is the process. This is the same for everybody. Jiggles का meaning यही होता है कि quickly you scan the surroundings and send the data to the brain, right? So that's why not 4, 1, 3, 2. Okay, now 4, 1, 2, 3. If I make that sequence, no, then see first I name something, I define it, then I describe the process, then I talk about the process in various age groups. That's how I will proceed. No. So if I make 4, 1, 2, 3 as the clue, as the pair, the sequence, the structure won't be right. ठीक है, पहले आपने कुछ बताया क्योंकि ये एक चीज होती है, ये ऐसे ऐसे प्रोसेस होता है, और डिफरेंट एज ग्रुप्स में दिस इज हाउ इट मैनिफेस्ट्स. Okay, so that will be the structure. 4, 3, 1, 2. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you. 4312. Interesting question this was. I thought that this was easy because I think I made the pair 1 2 very quickly, and I uh, understood that 4 is the defining sentence, the opening sentence. So only the placement of 3 was left. Okay, so that had to come between 4 and 1 2 only. Okay, all right. So reading the first few words can also help us. That's what we learned. See if you can spot the opening or closing sentences. For instance, in the previous question, this is what I did. I was able to spot the opening sentence, and that helped me. However, don't be stubborn about this. I've told you this n number of times. If you're able to spot it, very good. If not, follow the mandatory pair approach. The way I made 1 and 2 to be a pair, right? Follow the mandatory pair approach. So this is a foolproof approach. If there are 4 sentences, that means there are going to be 3 mandatory pairs. 4, 3, 3, 1, 1, 2. Each of them will have some logic behind them, why they are the pairs. You should be able to make 3 mandatory pairs, right? Because it's a non-MCQ question, so you have to do all this labor, right? Closing sentences, again, if you're able to spot, if when you are when they're given to you, they're easy to spot. Sometimes, let's say it's a middle paragraph and they are not very clear, then there's no point in wasting time in finding the opening or closing sentence. Then go through the mandatory pair approach, right? Okay, all right. Somebody's asking why not 3 before 4. No, because see, if I forget that you had read 1, 2, and 4, and I just tell you, our eyes quickly scan the surroundings and then send the data to the brain. Okay, so what am I talking about? What is the context? Okay, and then why would I repeat human eyes perform jiggles? Then I would simply say they perform jiggles if I wanted to place 4 later on, right? Then this does not make sense. Saying human eyes after them, our eyes, human eyes. So uh, human eyes first, and then to refer to human eyes I'm using the pronoun are instead of repeating human, right? तो पहले pronoun नहीं आएगा, और अगर पहले are eyes आ गया तो फिर यहाँ पे they आएगा. Okay, so thematically, grammatically, this does not make sense. All right, let's have a look at this. Now, there are 5 sentences here. Why have I put 5 sentences? See, in 2017, 2016, Cat gave you 5 sentences to arrange in a sequence instead of 4 sentences. Then after that, the pattern was changed. In the sense that we have been getting 4 sentences for the last few years, but Cat never officially announced that from now on we'll be giving 4 sentences only. So you should be prepared for arranging 5 sentences only in the exam, right? Because you keep getting such minor surprises. For instance, last year, instead of odd sentence parajumbles, you got para completion. So you should be prepared for such surprises. And therefore, let's see a 5 sentence parajumble. You have to arrange them. And trust me, I kept this to be an easy question, right? Because there were 5 sentences. So just again, make a sequence, pay attention to the initial few words, follow whatever I've told you so far. Okay. Pay attention to the unfortunately, however, in 5. What am I contrasting it with? Okay. So I've got one correct sequence in the chat box. Excellent. All right, let's discuss this. So, good. 4 is the opening sentence because this actually defines what we are talking about in the rest of the paragraph. The June to September rain bearing system. It's often called the lifeblood of the country's economy. And then 3 immediately afterwards states why. Why is it the lifeblood of the country's economy? What makes it so important for the economy? It's because half the Indian population depends on farm derived income. That's why it is the lifeblood of the country's economy. So excellent that you spotted that 4-3 is a mandatory pair. Right? Many of you have done this. 4-3 is almost all of the answers that I've got. In fact, all of the answers that I've got have said 4-3. Okay. Now, the question is where to place this because it talks about irrigation. Yes, it feels like, oh, this is the odd sentence out. Yes, some of you might have felt that. But it's not the odd sentence out because it tells us, okay, what is the problem with depending on this rain? What is the problem here? So, I'm saying that unfortunately, however, nearly 40% of India's net zone area does not have access to irrigation. See, even though half the Indian population depends upon farm derived income, even when this is the case, it is so unfortunate that nearly 40% of India's net zone area does not have access to irrigation. Okay, so 5 will come here that even though it's we are so much dependent on farm derived income, still our 40% area does not have access to irrigation. So what will be the consequence when this is the case? The consequence will be that if you have a subpar monsoon, it'll cut farm yields, output and farm incomes, increasing the country's dependence on food imports. So if you see this is a sequential relationship. 3-5-1. 3 tells me how dependent we are, okay, on farm derived income. 5 then says unfortunately, even though we have this dependence, 40% of our area still not it still does not have access to irrigation. And as a result of this, what is going to happen if we have a subpar monsoon? It cuts farm yields, output, farm incomes, etc. A robust monsoon, on the other hand, will help put a lid on food inflation. So it will solve problems, right? While this will create problems, this will solve problems by increasing domestic output of a variety of goods and commodities. Also notice the future tense here. See, I told you grammar helps. While this is in the present tense, okay, this is in the present tense, this is in the present tense. So all the other sentences are in the present tense. This is in the future tense. So normally we do this, we follow this structure when I'm talking about something that I'm predicting about the future, right? Something that will be a consequence or something that will be a result. So I am first describing the scenario to you, and then I'm saying if we have a robust monsoon, then this will happen. So 4-3-5-1-2. Excellent. Yes, Himanshu got it right. 4-3-5-1-2. Does this make sense? If you have any query, please ask. 2 cannot be the opening, Vedant. Okay, so I'm assuming there's no query. All right. 4-3-5-1-2. That is the sequence here. All right. So this was a 5-sentence parajumble. Now, what else can you do apart from these 4 things that I've already told you? See, find multiple pairs. Okay. What I see students doing is, let's say 4-3 pata chal gaya, 5-2 pata chal gaya, right? Then they are not able to figure out what will be the position of 1. Just giving an example. So they'll put it here. right? Randomly, they'll put it here without actually figuring out the place of one, its relationship with the other sentences. This is not how it's going to work in a parajumble where you don't have any options. So, as I said, if there are four sentences, you have to be confident about three pairs being there. 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, right? Three pairs you should have spotted. Also, don't be in a hurry to make pairs. So if you feel 4 will come before 3, that is not a guarantee that 4, 3 is a mandatory pair. It's possible that some other sentence can come in between them. So do check 1 and 2 also before deciding that, okay, 4, 3 is a pair. Right? So don't be in a hurry. Okay, your speed improves gradually in these questions. If right on the first day you feel that you should be able to solve them in a minute, it happens only with the easy questions, right? So don't get disheartened if you're taking more time right now. Just keep practicing, your speed improves. Okay, look at this question here. This is a previous year question, but I have modified it a little, right? So let's see what you say for this one. Okay. There's a grammar based clue here that I want you to pick up on. All right, I've got 5 responses. Others? So, some of these missing panels must be these missing panels. Which missing panels am I talking about? See, here I don't mention the word panels. I'm talking about single panel comics. It's a type of comics, right? Here also I don't mention panels. So, panels as a plural, it has been talked about here. 4, 3 is a pair. See, something as small as this can help you to identify a mandatory pair. So, it is as though the cartoonist devised a series of panels to tell the story and has shown you only one, and typically not even the funniest. To get the joke, you actually have to figure out what some of these missing panels must be. Okay, so 4, 3 is a pair, 1 is an introductory sentence here, right? So I'm happy that everybody got that 1 is the introductory sentence, because we are giving, we are actually trying to state the fact that how you have to infer something when you see a single panel comics. When you see just one panel, you have to figure something out. Okay, so 1 is the introductory sentence. So either 2 will come here or it will come here. Which place do you think is better for it? Yes. Should it be 1432 or 1243? If I make it 1432, Don't you think that in three, I've already stated this, that to get the joke, you have to figure out what some of these missing panels must be. Then, often the humor requires you to imagine what happened in the instant immediately before or immediately after the panel you are being shown. Don't you think that this has a better connection here? So it's a single panel that you are being shown. The panel that you are being shown. You are being shown a single panel, right? So I first tell you that, okay, a very particularly interesting example of inference occurs in many single panel comics. What is that? What is that example of inference? Often, okay, the human, I'm so sorry, the humor requires you to imagine what happened in the instant immediately before or immediately after the panel that you are being shown. So this elaborates on the idea of single panel comics. Ki bhai hoti kya hai single panel comics? One panel is shown to you and you have to figure out what happened before or afterwards. And then 4 tells you that how does the, how does the creator, the cartoonist, actually creates these. In his mind, there is a series of panels. You are being shown just one, so you have to figure out what the other panels will be, right? So 4 and 3 go more specific into the discussion. 1 tells you that inference occurs, 2 tells you how it occurs. 1, 2, 4, 3. Good. Somebody, yes, Shri identified 1, 2, 4, 3. Sonali also identified. Anjil also identified. Excellent. Okay, so 1, 2, 4, 3 is the sequence here. Right, so this was asked as an odd sentence out question in your exam, wherein there was one more sentence. I deleted the odd sentence out and turned it into a type in the answer parajumble. Right? Yes, correct, correct. So if I place it towards the end, uh, the humor requires you to imagine, actually this is better here because here I'm giving a specific example that there is a story that is running. Now what is the joke in this story, right? So this is telling me that okay, it's a type of comics, right? एक टाइप ऑफ ह्यूमर है जिसकी हम बात करें. So 1 and 2, it has a better sense, it has a better flow. And when you read more and more, uh, how I figured out that 2 should come before 1, because of this word often. Okay, I felt that 4-3 is a very specific discussion. In one, I'm introducing a point. In two, I'm introducing what is generally the case. So these two sentences are more general, whereas this is a specific discussion that is happening here. That's how I figured out that, okay, this is going to be the sequence. So as I said, the more you read, the better you get at identifying such clues. Okay. Let's see what else you can do. You've done all of these things that I've suggested, right? All these 5 things. Now, the last thing is revise the sequence that you've made. If let's say your sequence was 1, 4, 3, 2, now read the sentences in this order. If something is off, you will feel that when you read your sentences in this sequence. It often happens with me that if I have made the wrong sequence, when I read my sentences finally in that order, I feel that something is off. So, this revision helps when you have no options, right? When you have a non MCQ question. So with this, let's see this question here. Now 5 sentences again, but as I said, because of whenever I give you 5 sentences, I make the question slightly easier. So this is again a slightly easier question. Let's see what you say. I'm sorry, I'm a little unwell. I have to keep sipping water. Okay, I've got one sequence. All right. What about others? I've got six answers. Okay, all right. So, what is the opening sentence? One, three, or four? Yes. Tell me, what is the opening sentence here? One, three, or four? Um, One says the lake. So when I say the lake, I'm probably referring to some lake. And if its name is given to me in some other sentence, then one is probably not the opening sentence, right? And we can see this that three actually tells me it describes the entire scenario which is discussed in the rest of the sentences very well. That the municipal corporation is set to breathe life back into the city's Sion Talab. So I think it's a modification of Talab lake with the rejuvenation and beautification of the centuries old lake. So this tells me, okay, what is happening in the rest of the sentences. And it also names the lake for the first time. So 3 is actually the opening sentence, not 1. Similarly, 4 also says the lake. So again, 4 is not the opening sentence. Okay. Then after this, what should come? Yes, correct, Himanshu, correct. After this, what should come? So read what 3 talks about very carefully. It gives me the name of the lake. It tells me what is happening to the lake, right? Now, one describes it further. One describes it further. Located in the foothills of the Sion Fort. Okay, so why is it called Sion Lake? It's telling me now. Located in the foothills of the Sion Fort, the lake is a grade 2A heritage structure. So, why is it being rejuvenated? Why all the effort? It's a centuries old lake. Okay, so many clues. First, here I gave you the name, then I told you what is happening to it, then I also gave a reference of the time of the centuries old lake. In one, I described it further. I gave you the location so as to tell you, okay, why is it Sion Lake? Then dating back to the 17th century. See the time reference. The centuries old lake, and now I just defined it properly for you. कौन सी century की है? So 3 and then 1. Okay. What should come next? After 3 and 1, what do you say? Now, if you see over the years, here I say over the years, right? Then here I define something of the past that once, it was home to several marine creatures. The lake is now surrounded by high-rise residential buildings. So this will probably, uh, it is probably an expansion of 4 because it says the lake has lost its prominence. So how has it lost its prominence? Because it is surrounded by high-rise residential buildings. अब उतना दिखती ही नहीं है lake, right? So it has lost its prominence. So 4 to seem related that way. And if you see, 5 is a better connection after 1 rather than 4 or 2. Earlier, the Talab was a known natural tank. People knew it with the Sion hillock expanding around it like an enclosing wall. Okay, so it dates back to the 17th century, and earlier it was a known natural water tank. See how this known is then related to losing its prominence. So earlier it was known, it was prominent, now it is not that prominent. Okay, over the years, the lake has lost its prominence. Why? Because it is now surrounded by high rise residential buildings. 31542. I think the first student who answered this correctly was Anjila. Anjila got it correct. 31542. Then Himanshu also said that. Pratyusha, Saket, good. And Sonali also. Excellent. So this is the sequence 31542. If you have any queries, please ask. This was a very logical paragraph. Thematically, I think it was very clear which sentence should come where. Okay, confused that 2 can come before 4. Okay. All right. See, 4 has this connection, no? Prominence or known wala, right? Earlier and over the years wala, right? So, earlier this was the case. Over the years this has happened and now this is the case. That's how you'll proceed, no? Sequence hai. Earlier, over the years and now. Okay. So as I said, very logical. Okay. Let's have a look at this one. The last question for the day. Let's see what you say. Okay. Pay attention to this. Handed down. And here also we talk about handing down. Theme-based connection. Okay. 5 responses I've got. Okay. So, life and death, have we discussed them in the other sentences? 3 does not discuss life and death. We're talking about traditions in the other sentences, yes? So, the moment I saw 4, I felt that, it should either come at the end or it should come in the beginning because it cannot come in the middle, as in the other sentences, there's no discussion of life and death. So, what do you say? Should I place it in the beginning or should I place it at the end? Yes. Where should it come? Just as life has death as its opposite, so is tradition by default the opposite of innovation. Okay, by default, it's something that's accepted. It is now a truism. Truism is something that's obviously true. So, see, vocabulary helps you. So, we are saying tradition is by default the opposite of innovation. Now, it is something that's so obviously true that everybody knows this, that traditions are not handed down unchanged but are invented, right? So traditions are not handed down unchanged but are invented. So the process of handing down implies not a passive transfer but some contestation in defining what exactly is to be handed down. So 3 and 1 I identified were a pair. 4 I felt either in the beginning or at the end. So then I thought, okay, let me see where 2 fits and then I'll worry about 4. 2 says every generation selects what it requires from the past and makes its innovations, some more than others. So that, see, here I'm saying that it is not a passive transfer. It's not that I took a tradition from my parents and I just gave it to my children. This is not happening, right? There's some discussion that is happening here, some push and pull regarding exactly what is it that we should hand out to our children. So every generation is doing this. Every generation selects what it requires from the past. So this is now telling me how it is not a passive transfer, because every generation is selecting what it requires from the past and makes its innovations, some more than others. So 3-1-2 is a sequence. Okay. Now 4 fits better in the beginning and not at the end, because for here there is an analogy that is given to me, just as life as death has its opposite. So see here, if I make this analogy towards the end, right, then it has to relate to 2 at least. 2 से तो relationship होना पड़ेगा ना, 2-4 mandatory pair, because 2-4 is a mandatory pair. Now this does not relate with 2 at all. In 2, do I talk about life and death? I don't. So 4 is actually introducing that, just as life and death are the opposites, similarly tradition and innovation, they are by default each other's opposites. So that's why today traditions are not being handed down unchanged. We are innovating there, right? We are inventing them. Okay. So 4, 3, 1 and 2. Excellent. Those who said 4, 3, 1, 2, did anybody say that? Okay. 4, 2, 3, 1 is what I got, but 4, 3, 1, 2. ये है answer. All right. So I hope you've understood this. This was a relatively tricky one because it was slightly more abstract. It was not very topical, so to say. Current affairs जैसा नहीं था, right? तो थोड़ा सा abstract था. So you needed to figure this out. And I think this by default and truism relationship helped me, right? That something that is accepted by default, something that is considered obviously true. I felt that there's a relationship there, right? Another thing that helped me, handing down. Okay, handing down, handed down, noticing this. So pay attention to such things. Reading helps you, as I said. The more you read, the more alert you become to these things. Practice helps you, and patience also helps you, right? So right on the first day, you can't expect to have 100% accuracy in non-MCQ, questions, be they of any subject, not just my subject, right? So I hope this session helped you. 2 as the last sentence. But don't you think, Virendra, that 2 has a very strong connection with 1? Because I'm telling you that there's a push and pull happening there regarding what should we hand down, what should we select from the past. The transfer is not a passive transfer. We are actively choosing, right? So again, it was a theme-based clue, not a passive transfer, focusing on that. Okay. All right. So I did not go by the closing sentence approach here. I went by the mandatory pair approach here for 2. Okay. And yes, we have something for you in case you want to know more about what all material we have for you, right? What all sessions, the way we conduct sessions. So you can unlock a free trial, a 3-day free trial. Now you can click on this link that is there. It is pinned in the comment section, right? In the chat box. It is also there in the description box, right? And yes, it's there in the comment section too. So we've pinned it everywhere. So when you click on this link, you will get a 3-day free trial. You can attend our lectures, you can see what all material we give you, etc., etc., right? So you can make use of that. And these are our CAT 22 toppers, right? We have many more. We have many more conversions. In case you want to be one of them, you can join us. This is our comprehensive program. To make it more accessible for you, as I've told you, we keep conducting scholarship tests. The next one is on the 11th at 11 a.m. Okay, so you have to register for it in advance. Take it, see where you stand. Now, if nothing else, it will tell you where you stand currently. Okay, and you can get up to a 90% scholarship. Also, in case you're worried about whether I should start my CAT prep now, am I late? And will I be able to crack it? If you have such doubts, such worries, then you should attend this workshop, okay, on the 30th. So it is today itself, yes, at 7 p.m. Do join Saral sir, he'll clarify all these doubts of yours, right? Again, register for it. And as I said, we have a lot of free material also available for you on our app. So download the app, and there in the practice tab, you'll get quizzes for various topics. This is an ongoing series. In case you're preparing for CAT, then I'm sure you must have attended some of its sessions. 500 most expected CAT questions. It will go on till CAT, okay? So if you're in for the long haul, then join this. All right. And yes, we are everywhere on the social media. Join us. I hope you've subscribed, and I hope you'll download the app. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Uh, Welcome, Sonali, Nishant, Harshad. So, Himanshu, usually we have an English session every day, and usually the timing for that is 12 p.m. on our YT channel, right? So, either I'll meet you or Vikrant sir will meet you. One of us will meet you for it. Okay? All right. So, thank you for attending and welcome. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.